What's up, gang? Welcome into the PTA pregame show as the Packers get set to take on the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland for the very first preseason game of the season. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Joined alongside Jacob, of course, and we got the man, the myth, the legend, Tim back in the house, fresh off a trip to Milwaukee. Tim, tell us the secret to life since you've been gone for so long, man, please.
Work hard, remain humble, keep your faith in God.
Wash your hands, wash your butt.
Yeah, gotta add that one in there
wash
too.
Wash your hands, wash your butt.
Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
There you go. What else do you need other than God, clean hands, and a clean butt? That's prioritization. And then also, no matter if they hurt your stomach or not, man, keep eating those cheese curds.
Cheese curds make my stomach hurt all the time, but I do eat them though.
Yeah, you and me both, Bo. I'm right there with you, bro.
Mama didn't raise no quitter. I'll tell you what Mama did raise, though. Smart young man. That goes to Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since 92, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source. They got offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Just click on the link in the video description here that'll send you to theticketking.com where you can register for free as a customer. Go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Get them while they're hot, gang. Don't wait for these games to sell out. Make sure you can go over to Ticket King, and they're going to be able to compete very, very, very aggressively with other websites and the prices on these Packers games. Again, that's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. So I was just telling the guys combing through Twitter, doesn't look like many of the media guys are actually at the stadium in Cleveland, at least judging by their Twitter accounts. I know Spoon is there. He's going to be doing a live blog, though, over at, what was it? I think JSN. Yeah, JSOnline.com over there with I guess that's the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. Is that right, guys? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll be doing a live blog over there, but obviously they're not tweeting much out right now. I'm going to comb through and try to see if anyone else might be in Cleveland. I'd love to see some actives and inactives, which you guys know that usually they wait to the last second to post those as well. So we've also got a couple articles from Paul Bretl talking about players to watch on both offense and defense. Before we dive into that, though, let's just kind of go around the horn. What are you guys looking for with this first preseason game? Tim, since you haven't been here in a while, man, we'll start with you. What are you looking for this evening or this afternoon with this Packers-Browns matchup?
Touchdown drive on the first possession with J Love in the offense. Let's get a series in, put points on the board, and then get them off the field immediately. That's kind of what I'm looking for. But other than that, getting to see a look at this Jeff Hafley defense, man. You know, this is our first look. Obviously, not a lot of starters playing today. I'm assuming we might see some of that peppered in. I know there's a few nagging injuries and things like that. So a couple new faces in the D line room that we might get to see as well. So basically, you know me, I'm Mr. Defense. So I'm really looking forward to seeing just the boys back out there playing football again. Yeah, it's preseason, but hey, it's a game. You know, no more scrimmages. This is a game, and now we're getting into that point in time where we really work on our prep, right? You know, this young team coming together, new coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball. Get your game prep in, start to simulate what week to week this is going to be like going into the season. So I'm just excited for football.
Got it. Jacob, what about you, man? What are you looking for this afternoon?
Specifically, I want to see, like Tim just said, want to see a strong start. Hopefully just one, maybe two drives tops of Jordan Love. When Jordan Love's in there, I want to see the offensive line protecting him, obviously protecting his blind side, making sure we have no chance of him getting injured. And just in addition to that, no injuries whatsoever. I know it's unrealistic to expect that, but I just hope and pray that we get through this game without having any more setbacks. We've had some random injuries popping up all of a sudden. And more specifically, I want to see how the secondary, the new guys do. I want to see Bullard. I want to see Williams. And I want to see how Kalen King responds. And just a random note here. Did y'all see that our boy Kevin King had a return, an interception he plays for the Falcons, I believe now. And that made me weirdly happy to see that he somehow had a career resurgence and is able to, at least it looks like, fight back to possibly getting some playing time. In addition to that, I want to see how the running back room shakes up. I want to see Lloyd. I want to see how Dylan's running with actual opposing, not just teammates. I want to see if he's more aggressive, if he's faster, if he's twitchier. And I want to see Mr. Wilson again, see what that can do. And then the late wide receiver battles, those guys that are fighting for that 6th or even a possible 7th / practice squad.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially when we looked at Bill Huber's latest 2.0 version of his 53-man roster projection that we seen earlier today on the morning show. Man, it kind of seems like they feel like Grant DuBose, they being Bill Huber, and I'm sure some of his colleagues as well, feel like Grant DuBose may have passed up Malik Heath. That's one of the only things that was the only thing that changed in the wide receiver room, according to his 53, right?
That makes me like happy and sad at the exact same time. Right. I don't remember, my brain just seized up. I don't know how to feel.
That's exactly what I said last night on the podcast. I said, I think Tim would be okay with that, but at the same time, it'd be like Matrix.
Definitely two of my favorite receivers there. Like you were saying, kind of secondary, bottom of the depth chart rungs here, fighting for position. But the good news for us as Packer fans, whoever it is, we're putting our best foot forward because they're both damn good players, So it's going to be exciting to watch.
Definitely. Everybody following in now. Appreciate y'all making us a part of your pregame festivities here. I was telling Tim just a second ago, man, I got out in the pool earlier. I had me a couple daddy sodas. Manny brung some brisket home. Boys, I'm telling you, my head's about to hit the keyboard right now. It's hard to stay awake, but I'm excited.
Everybody's saying Clayton a Red Bull. We need to get a Red Bull over to Clayton.
I need something. Need something, man, for this old man here. But appreciate y'all, like I said, joining us. If you would, take a quick second. Let's get that algae cranked up. Hit the like button, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Thank y'all for making us a part of your pregame here. So Packers.com tweeted this out just a second ago. Says it's a thing of beauty. Got some locker room images. There you see our boy Josh Jacobs in his locker, number 8. Love the old school logo, of course. Bo Melton's jersey. Probably going to see a lot of Bo tonight, I would imagine. There you see kind of a crappy looking away locker room, isn't it, guys? Remind you how
welcome to Cleveland.
Dude, look at they're all scratched up and like they didn't even put a new coat of paint on those
guys.
Things.
Look at the bottom; they got wheels on them. They clearly wheeled those POSs in there.
I love it.
Said, here you go, Green Bay, have fun.
It's funny we're criticizing them for that, but one thing, if you take the Legends tour, whatever it is, the legendary tour, the private tour of Lambeau Field, they talk about how they strategically make the opposing players walk up a flight of steps and back down them to get to the field, right?
And it's tiny. Remember how small the hallway is? It's like
they still send them through that old tunnel. It's hilarious.
Of course, you got the helmet there. So Packers, like I said, Packers tweeting that stuff out, getting you fired up with the pregame festivities here. Let's go to the chat. Nick McSwain says, I've heard Packers have been struggling executing screenplays on offense. Do y'all think it's something they're doing wrong offensively, or defense is just good at shutting them down? It's a great question, Nick. I will say this. I feel like the screen game, the halfback screen game, I want to specify, has struggled since Matt LaFleur got here. There's a lot of things he does well, and he will use some of the wide side screens to the receivers and whatnot. But am I wrong in that, guys? Does it kind of feel like, you think all the way back to Holmgren, they had the screen down pat. You think of Rodgers when McCarthy first got here, they could really run the screen pass well. Just kind of feels like we've struggled timing up that screen pass since LaFleur got here. What do you guys, do you agree with that, disagree with that? What do you think?
I would agree with that. What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, I think like he just said, it's more of a timing thing with the offensive linemen. They just don't seem like they release at the right time. And I remember watching the screens of like Dorsey Levens of old and even Amon Green and stuff. And it reminded me of the Olympics and synchronized swimming. You'd see these guys engage blockers and then both of them would slowly break off and they would just take like these perfectly in sync angles and set up that kind of front blocking wedge. Yep. And it just seems so perfect. I don't know what's happened in that time. I do agree that I've seen more maybe innovative type screens from LaFleur than I've seen just those normal kind of dump offs that we are used to. But the execution has definitely been lacking. I agree.
Screen versus swing pass, right? I feel like we get those swing shots are pretty in rhythm for the most part. But I do think there's a great point there at the end of Nick's comment about maybe it's just this ball hawking defense we got right now.
Could be.
And Jeff Hafley's got these guys playing downhill. They're rallying to the ball. They're rallying to the ball carrier. And it's just a testament of what I think we're going to see from this defense going forward. And that's an adjustment for Matt LaFleur and his offense, just like it's going to be for every other team we play this year. They're going to have to account for the fact that we're not covering grass. We're covering, the player, and we're covering the football. So,
and I have to imagine too that, like you talked about just there, Tim, we've heard countless times from countless players that Hafley's emphasizing attacking, not having to overthink things, being aggressive, playing fast. So you can't convince me that they don't have some sort of process where he gives his players a number of ways to identify and stop, or basically to identify a screen before it's even happening, whether it be the guards or the offensive linemen that are pulling, or different tells that maybe the running back does or that the quarterback does with his footwork. And like you said, we're playing so fast and they're playing so downhill that I really think that we could be a super aggressive defense. I'm just so excited to see some actual hits today, man. I'm starting to get really nervous. I'm starting to feel like I'm going to throw up.
Jacob's the only fan I know that gets nervous for preseason games as well. I love it, dude. I love it.
Like Bobby Boucher right before kickoff.
Jacob, as soon as the ball kicks off, Jacob's got this look in his eye right here. So, all right, let's see. Let's go back to the chat real quick. Blake B said, I was at the store earlier and almost bought some Evan Williams bourbon, but Buffalo Trace was on sale. My man getting that deal. Tipping the cap to you there, Blake B. You drink responsibly and have a great game day, my man. Let's see. Nick McSwain in the chat said, I've already seen people crowning Caleb Williams as the next great quarterback. Laughing emoji. I seen that too. I was cracking up, man. It's again.
I will say this. He looked pretty good. He did. Did you watch him at all?
I watched every snap. I wasn't listening.
Who?
He didn't play bad. I'm not saying that.
No.
But the dump off pass, like a 5-yard pass, the throw that he made to DJ Moore, he was way late on that throw and got DJ Moore hit pretty hard.
Yeah.
Another couple throws on the run, looked good on the run, but threw behind Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet had to turn around to the ball. Another play. The dude undercuts the route, almost picked it off, but they got called for illegal contact. There was a lot of stuff in there that I looked up and was like, I went to Twitter and you would have thought this son of a gun played one quarter, threw for 600 yards and had 17 touchdowns or something. It was hilarious. But
what I noticed too is that whenever he had the least bit of pressure in his face, he looked like he was, one, he would scramble right away, and two, most of the time it was an overthrow or a thrown out of bounds, or you could see that he just kind of panicked, and which is, he like I said, I thought he still looked pretty decent for his first start.
He didn't look bad. He didn't look
bad. The Bills, I didn't see many blitzes whatsoever. They were rushing 4, and right away Ed Oliver or Espinoza went out or something like that. So it wasn't. Yeah, I would take it with a grain of salt.
God bless both of you guys sitting through a Chicago Bears game. I don't know how you do it.
So the big thing that stood out to me with it too, Jacob, that one throw to, I think it was DJ Moore that he hit on that curl route. I counted 5.2 seconds is what he had. I stopwatched it. That's how geeky I am. I'm like, how long did he have to throw that damn ball? He sat back there. They did a double chip, and he had 5.2 seconds to throw the ball. So it's like, how are you grading him on that? And you hit the nail on the head. As soon as he looked 1-2, he was trying to get out the gate. And one time the contained defender slipped, right? You seen that? That was off a boot action too. If that defender didn't slip, right in the mouth. And I promise you, come week 1, it ain't going to be these backups in there. And you know what I mean? Scrub City. Like you said, Ed Oliver went out really, really early too. That's their best defensive lineman, to the best of my knowledge, outside of Von Miller. And I don't even know if Von played. I don't remember hearing his name. Yeah.
No. Did any other ones play for Buffalo's D?
There were several. Yeah. It was sprinkled in pretty heavy. I think they went about a quarter maybe, but nonetheless, I'm not saying he played bad. I will say you could see some inaccuracy right off the bat. Throwing behind Cole Kmet on that play. He was late to Cole Kmet on another play. The crosser where he threw on the run, pretty pass. Wasn't perfect, but pretty. You could see the zip. You could see the arm talent. But it's going to be
a couple of decent scrambles, but yeah.
Yeah. No, he looked very fluid scrambling, but he always has. He's very quick, and he's really, really deceptive with his cutting ability. Like that, the way he made that linebacker completely turn around was like, okay, you see that. But we've seen that with Justin Fields. The question is, when you have to play within the pocket and you have to play like you were talking about, when you're staring down the barrel of a blitz and you got to stand in there and deliver that ball, there is no, oh crap, I got a free runner, let me scramble out. You know, you're gonna run right into a contains what's going to happen. But again, I don't think he played bad. So I wasn't going to mention it, but since they mentioned it in the chat, we'll talk about it. That's why we're doing it. So Dennis Shook said, I cannot wait to see Bullard the Bulldog and Evan Williams. What if we get to see both them on the field together tonight? Wouldn't that be cool? Get Xavier McKinney out of there early and throw Bull and Evan Williams in there. That's good cross training to get them playing both positions, right?
Kalen King as well. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting a glimpse at him too, because I think
slot too.
Yeah, man, he might be the sleeper pick of this draft on the defensive side of the ball for sure.
Yeah. DeBose says, AFAM says, DeBose says AFAM is solid. AFAM said DeBose is solid. Completely agree, man. He's having a great camp. Dennis Shook said Grant DeBose is about to break out this preseason. He may be. It seems like every year there's a receiver in there, guys, that you go, man, they really just flash. Malik Heath last year in every facet of his game, blocking, all that, he really showed up on tape for sure. Jen Wright in the chat says, I want to see this defense. Here's the thing that kind of borderline sucks, Jen, is we're not going to see the whole defense. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be this very vanilla version. What you will see, though, are 4 defensive linemen with their hands in the dirt, and that is exciting to see how these guys get off the ball, obviously. But, yeah, they're going to try to hold it close to the vest, I would imagine. R.E. Iron Miner says, I want to see a smothering attacking defense. What I just say, probably not going to see it today, Iron Miner, but I know what you're talking about, my man. Let's see. Lime Volcano says, Bo Melton reminds me of Donald Driver, low-key. Maybe it's just a number. I don't know. I know exactly what you're talking about. We've talked about on here, everyone, guys. You see that number 80 running down the field, it's like brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it?
Yeah. I really – there was a point in time where I thought that they were going to retire that for Driver. But, you know, you really do think about just how difficult it is to get your number retired at Lambeau Field, you know, to be up there. So definitely I think the comparison, though, not just in the physical attributes or the game or seeing that number 80 flying down the field making plays, it's the personality. It's just extremely likable guy. Like, if you don't like Bo Melton, you're the problem. It's definitely not him, you know? So I can see the comparisons there too. The guy exudes what it means to be a Packer, and he's a great teammate, great leader out there for being a young player. So I totally see that comparison for sure.
Definitely. We got a bunch of people in here. If you would take a quick second, hit that like button for us. Feel free to share it, all that good stuff. If this is your first time tuning into the YouTube or Rumble channels, feel free to hit that sub. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Blake B back to Caleb Williams says, definitely look better than Fields. Completely agree, Blake. Very small sample size, but he did look more comfortable than Justin Fields. And
the
definitely
Steelers haven't moved him to running back yet?
No, he's too busy returning kicks at the moment.
Yo, did you guys see, though? He had some snaps, so he was in for a decent amount of plays today. He had 2 fumbled snaps. He took 2 sacks. He threw 3 or 4 balls either out of bounds or a full 3 or 4 yards behind or in front of the receiver, and then he handed it off about 13 times. He looked
so he's in midseason form already, man.
He looked terrible.
That's rough, man. That's rough.
Yeah.
New offense to learn, all that. It's going to be an uphill battle for him. It's funny, too, because Pittsburgh went out and double dipped, didn't they? They went and got Russell Wilson. They went and got Justin Fields. Russell Wilson a little banged up right now, and Justin Fields looks like he's completely forgot how to play football. Sucks to not have a quarterback, but this is all I got to say. Remember when we were getting criticized like crazy for drafting Jordan Love with Aaron Rodgers on the roster?
Yep.
We've been waiting for this moment. Y'all enjoy it. Have fun figuring that whole quarterback thing out. If it doesn't work out at quarterback or kick returner for Justin Fields, one thing for sure, he
can block.
He might be able to throw him out there in line. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what else we got here in the chat. If you see any others, Jacob, just keep on marking them for me, buddy. Mr. Death says, hot take, Grant DeBose wins the last wide receiver spot. 24 hours ago, Mr. Death, I would have said, yeah, that's a hot take. Now, what I'm hearing, I don't think it's so much a hot take anymore, man. It sounds like it might be Might be neck and neck between him and Malik Heath for sure. Let's see. Yeah, there you go. Duke Jake Backus in the chat says, in your opinion, is Dubose the front runner for wide receiver 6? I trust Bill Huber, man. Bill Huber has been covering the team a very, very long time. And in his latest 53-man projection we showed you guys and gals earlier today on the morning show, that's what he had. He had it changing. Malik Heath dropping out, Grant DuBose sliding in. So I hate to say this because you don't want to put that bad juju out there, but Jacob, we talk about it all the time, man. Most of these conversations we're having, someone's going to be a little banged up and have to start on PUP or something. It usually settles that battle for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was just going to say that. And obviously we always preface it with we don't want anybody to get hurt, blah, blah, blah. I think, too, we have to think about, well, I think we did talk about this the other day, that I would bet that Malik Heath has put on enough on tape and shown up in some really key situations that if we tried to slip him to the practice squad, that he may get snagged before somebody like Grant DuBose. So if that's a factor in the little chess moves that we're making here, I think we should remember that. But today, Grant DuBose could come out and absolutely light this place on fire, and all of a sudden he's catching, like we say, the not for long league is what have you done for me lately, that all stuff. So they could completely forget about whatever tape they've got on Heath. If currently in this preseason, we got a guy like DuBose that just keeps showing up. And I do think that he's going to get quite a bit, because I was trying to think today, I did enter in a few of the daily fantasy stuff, some DraftKings and underdogs and all that. But I was trying to think, what would the receivers be that I'm not thinking? I was thinking Bo Melton will get a decent bit, DuBose, Heath, but then it'd be what, like Dimitri Stanley, Hicks, Torre, and I'm trying to think of who else we got that's on the back end there, because I think a lot of Torre would be a good one, but I don't know, man. I'm getting really nervous, man. Like my heart's beating 1,000 miles an hour.
I love it, dude.
I really hope both of those guys ball out. I hope Heath balls out, and I hope DuBose balls out, and I hope they play so well in this preseason that we got to keep 7 receivers. That's what I hope.
Right. Just make it happen.
Just make it impossible for them not to take 7 receivers.
I like it. Respect Oranges in the chat said, I've heard from a few people Malik Heath would get snatched up fast, so I feel they'll decide they'll hide DuBose on the practice squad and have Heath wide receiver 6. There's definitely more regular season tape on Malik Heath than DuBose, right? Does DuBose have a single snap during regular season? He does not, does he?
I don't think he does.
That's a great point. Now, here's the thing. From their perspective, they're, being the front office and obviously the coaching staff, do they maybe not show DuBose so much?
I was just going to say that. I wonder if they hide him kind of like they've done for whatever reason with Wicks. It seems like in certain situations where they don't want them to know how deadly we are at the wide receiver group.
Yeah, could be, man. It could be. All right, let's see what else we got here in the chat real quick. Then we'll get to Paul Bretl's article, which is just it's really cool to get his opinion, his breakdown. Mr. Death says, I think Michael Pratt wins the QB2 job and Sean Clifford gets put in the practice squad. And I also think for kickers, Joseph wins the job. When it comes to Pratt, it's kind of the same type of thing there with DuBose. Like, I don't think Sean Clifford would get signed to an active roster. But one thing's for sure, man. Goody and LaFleur, they seen something in Sean Clifford to take him in the 5th round. Whether we agree with it or not, the reality is they had a grade on Sean Clifford. I know they were in 2 different drafts, but I'm telling you, people say you can't compare draft class to draft. The hell you can't. It all comes down to their grading system. And what it tells you is they had at least a fifth round grade on Sean Clifford, who was projected to be like the 500th prospect. So he was going to go undrafted. And Michael Pratt, they had a 7th round grade, at least a 7th round grade on. So it really shows you where the value lies there. I think they like Sean Clifford more than Michael Pratt. Now, you guys know I've been very vocal. I think based off what I've seen, college tape mainly being the case, Michael Pratt has a lot more talent than Sean Clifford. But there is something about Sean Clifford, man. He is a scrappy player, and they really, really like that dude. But what do you think, Tim? If you had to guess right now, who do you think will win that QB2 spot? And this is what we're going to be watching for tonight and the rest of the preseason, or these 2 quarterbacks battle it out between Michael Pratt and Sean Clifford.
I think we're going to get a better answer to that question after tonight's game. we should see a healthy dose of QB play from these guys. I think it's a possibility, not a probability. I would agree with half of this statement here that I think there's an opportunity for Michael Pratt to maybe sneak in and steal that backup job. He's got Sean Clifford's got a few years on him, a little bit more experience. And to your point, Clayton, I think the Packers do like Sean Clifford. He's got a heck of an arm. So does Michael Pratt. So watching these guys battle, I think it might be too early to really make a sweeping statement for sure. But I think after tonight, we're going to get a really, really good idea of which direction this is trending. So I would agree with that first part of that comment there. Not the second part of the comment, though. You guys know where I stand with our kickers.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been having a lot of fun with it with you being gone because obviously Greg Joseph has got a slight lead in kicks in camp. And every time I've mentioned, listen, if he goes +5 on a kick lead, my pick is going to be Greg Joseph. If it's less than a 5 kick lead, stick with Anders. And everybody goes, boy, Tim's going to hear that. Tim's going to hear it. So let's see here. Jordan Taylor says, let's not forget Heath beat out DuBose and Melton last year. Special teams ability and blocking is arguably more important than pure pass catching for a wide receiver 6. That's a great point, too.
Let's also not forget that DuBose and Melton were banged up and injured last year also.
Yeah. DuBose mainly, right? I mean, he's definitely more banged up than he. Fred McFarley says, really hope to see some signs of competence from our 6 through 10 O-linemen. We're going to get a good look at that, Jacob. And we were talking about Rob Domofsky said that he heard from both inside the Packers building and around the league, the Packers are actively looking for a swing tackle on the market. So obviously they're looking for a tackle to back up both left and right tackle positions should Rasheed Walker or Zach Tom get banged up. What do you think about that right there, Jacob? Do you think we'll see some signs of competence tonight? And I would say probably as early as the second quarter, it's time to start looking at these offensive linemen, what they might be able to do, right? Well, really the first quarter because Zach Tom probably isn't going to play, right?
No, Zach Tom's not playing. What Omar just said here, I would really want to see Jacob Monk. I want to see if Glover's – I don't know if he's healthy and playing, but if so, I want to see what he can do. I really want to see a lot from Sean Ryan just to see if that's for real or what's happening there. And then
hopefully not at center again.
I don't know. Once we get past this front 5 or the starting 5, I'm just really nervous. So I agree with that. It would definitely be a lot of it'd be pretty comforting if I could see them go in there and actually just hold their own and not completely have either Clifford or Pratt running around like crazy.
Definitely. Mr. Death said McKinney is suiting up to play today nice, and I'm sure he got it right here or one of the sources he got it from. Tom Silverstein from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel said safety Xavier McKinney is suited up and taking part in warm-ups. Cornerback Jair Alexander appears to be getting the day off. Cornerback Eric Stokes is dressed, but cornerback Carrington Valentine hamstring is not. Inside linebacker Tyron Hopper is dressed after missing time with an ankle injury. So a lot of mixed stuff there. Xavier McKinney, in the past, and I'm not saying they're going to do this today, but in the past, they have had these guys suit up and then not play. It seems like that was under McCarthy. Under LaFleur, if they're suited up, they're at least playing one series. So I think you will see McKinney out there. Obviously, Jair's sitting out. So if Carrington Valentine is not playing with the hamstring, you're going to have Eric Stokes and who else on the outside, fellas?
It's going to have to be right? Well, I was going to say Valentine, but
yeah, Valentine, you're right. Yeah. Valentine and maybe Kalen King. So you're probably going to see a lot of Kalen King today.
I was going to say probably a lot. And maybe a lot of Robert Rochelle. And
yes.
Who was the other one that
Go ahead. That cracked me up.
Is Jermon Green still on the team? Trying to think who else would possibly be out there. Didn't we send who? So I'm excited. Is Oladapo supposed to play?
I don't know. I would think not. Was he wasn't in full practice, was he?
I thought he was.
Was
he?
I thought
he came back, yeah.
Yeah, maybe he you're right. Now that I think about the injury report we kept showing at the last practice, he's got to be ready to go. So maybe we see some Oladapo out there. That's exciting. I'm excited to see Tyron Hopper. I was a little worried about him falling behind with that ankle injury. So that's great that he's healthy there.
Jeez.
Let's see here. Tom Silverstein also said Josh Jacobs is dressed and taking part in kickoff return warmups. It's possible some guys will warm up and not play, but Jacobs looked like he might back his debut. So I guess that's meaning he may make his debut. I bet's what he meant there. So Josh Jacobs dressed, and that's what I was just talking about. Sometimes they dress and they don't play. It's just you want to get in that routine, that pregame routine, get dressed, get taped, all that stuff. So
interesting that he's taking part in kickoff return warmups. Like you had mentioned several times this offseason about the new kickoff rules, how we could see running backs creep into that role, more so than, a receiver or a secondary guy normally returning kicks. So that would be pretty interesting. I could tell you, I'd love to see, I don't know about Josh Jacobs, our franchise back, so to speak, our premier back, but I wouldn't mind seeing Marshawn Lloyd return a kick, or, probably not A.J. Dillon, but certainly Emmanuel Wilson or Marshawn Lloyd returning kicks would be fun too. So kind of interesting to see that Jacobs is doing those kickoff return warmups.
Yeah, definitely. Chat, I swear. This Brenton Cox Jr. Conversation that you guys and gals have here in the chat, it's unhinged. Let's see what else we got here real quick. In the chat, Omer said, I think the Packers will guaranteed carry all three quarterbacks on the 53. That's what Bill Huber said as well. So
I love how Omer said that. I think Packers will guarantee.
You got to cover all the bases, too. You know?
He's like making a very sweeping statement while also protecting himself. I love it.
Welcome to 2024, baby. Let's see. Jen Wright says Home Depot time for Oladapo. Yes, ma'am. Let's get him out there, get him some snaps for sure. Hopefully it happens. But Omer said Oladapo finally getting a few snaps the last practice. I think it was JN said he came back, but haven't heard he is ready. I'm kind of feeling like he probably won't play, but I could be completely wrong there.
Silverstein just tweeted that Andre Dillard is lining up at right tackle for the Packers in warmups with Zach Tom sitting out.
Got it.
I don't like that.
Dillard's going to get the start, and then it'll probably go to Kadeem Telford. Hopefully we'll see some Luke Tenuta, man. You know?
I got him.
You got him. Did you zap him, Jacob?
Zap.
Get out of here.
Tell you what, Bub, everybody, we're kind of popular in here today. They want to come in here and do some advertising. We'll advertise for you. You're just going to pay for it. Mm-hmm. So let's see. Nice guy, Eric. I think I'm saying that right. Yeah, guy Eric 21 says, do you see Kalen King having a roster spot? Absolutely, I do. I don't know how you guys feel, but I think he's shown enough, and I think that I could see someone snatching him up off the practice squad personally. How do you guys feel about Kalen King? You think he's got a roster spot on this 53?
Yes.
Yeesh. All right. Let's see.
Chat's kind of freaking out right now, and I don't blame them.
Go ahead. What are they freaking out? Is it all these that you just marked?
Yeah. That's everybody there.
Here we go. So, nice guy Eric says Dillard is going to get Love killed, I swear. Next one, Matthew Perez. Telford is better than Dillard at right tackle. That's kind of the vibe I got in camp, too. Omer says Dillard better not get all the sacks. Fred McFarley, bench Love, no joke. I don't want him on the field with Dillard. Garrett Stritzel, seriously, do not want to see Dillard protecting Love. Jen Wright, trying to get
Dillard, but Dillard.
Dillard hurt. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, man, that's tell you what.
Realistically, how many snaps do you think Jordan Love's going to play today? Or how many series? I think maybe one or two series. That's it. We don't.
I think if the first series goes well, they'll pull him. If it's like they go out there, they run the ball twice, he throws an incomplete pass, I think they'll probably bring him back for another series type thing.
Sure.
You know. But yeah, I'm with you. What do you think, Jacob? How long do you think Jordan Love will play tonight?
I think it'd be 2 drives max, like you said. I think if it's a decent series, just do 1 series. But
got it, Smitty. Oh, go ahead, Jacob. I'm sorry.
Sorry, you're good.
Smitty says 1 to 2 series. Yep.
I think we all agree. We're pretty close here on these. Coach Len says 1 series. I'm with you, Clayton. I think if that first series is a big nothing burger, they're going to want to see a little more. And remember what these games are for, right? We're working on things. We're trying to keep it vanilla, but this is to get your game legs under you a little bit here, so we can go into week 1 in Brazil firing on all
Brazil.
cylinders.
Yeah, definitely. Respect Oranges. He's got the line of the night. Oh, Vince Lombardi. Run it. Let's get the hell out of here.
Let's get the hell out of here.
It's funny. We've been waiting for preseason. We got so excited when they said Love was playing. Now we're like, yeah, let's just run the ball twice and get him out of there. All right. Exactly. Coach Lynn in the chat said TJ Slaton's in for a big role this season. Look forward to watching him tonight. Jacob, we've talked about this a lot. Tim, I know you've been gone. You've probably been listening at a distance, I'm sure. TJ Slaton, man, it kind of feels like they see him as that starting defensive tackle, that one tech next to Kenny in this new 4-3, man.
It's exciting, man. I've been keeping my eye on him the last couple of years. And, he's had his moments of he was kind of underwhelming, but certainly something's going on there with Big TJ. And he's taken a step, maybe even 2 steps between last season and this season. So some guys fit better roles and better schemes. And the 43 is probably a better scheme for what we're trying to accomplish this year. And having guys like TJ Slaton, this is hand in hand. Plus, again, we've got coaching changes, not just a DC. We've got a lot of new faces in that defensive room, including our D-line coach, Coach Ogabasi, right? So, yep. And that guy is going to have these fellas ready to play. So it's no surprise that you're starting to see TJ take those steps. And really, he's not the only one in that D-line group. We're starting to see, some movement in the right direction from a lot of the guys. But I'm extremely excited to see him go out there and ball. I've always had a feeling that, he can get it done, but I think it just took him a little while to kind of mature as a player and really grow into this role. And it's going to be cool to see him out there with Kenny.
Yeah, for sure. Coach Lynn in the chat says TJ Slaton's in for a big role this season, like we were saying. So the thing I remember about camp last year was TJ Slaton being effective against the pass, his pass rush last year. It was like, hold up, he's supposed to be a run stuffer. And he was using quickness to get off the ball and get into the backfield to get pressure on the quarterback, man. That's the one thing that stood out to me last year. Tom Silverstein just tweeted out a few seconds ago, Edgerrin Cooper is not dressed. No surprise there, obviously. We kind of expected him to sit this out where he's been banged up. Unfortunately, Tim, Edgerrin Cooper's kind of fallen behind a little bit, but, man, it sounds like Isaiah McDuffie and Eric Wilson are really impressing. So that's probably going to be your linebacker starting alongside Quay for the most part, although Tyron Hopper going to be healthy tonight out there to try to prove his worth as well.
That'll be fun to see him play. I'm looking forward to seeing Tyron Hopper out there, get us our first glimpse of him in the green and gold.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely so. All right, so we're at the 37-minute mark. We're, roughly 22 minutes from kickoff. Do we want to hit these articles, or do we just want to continue doing what we're doing in the chat, Jacob? What do you think, man? Because the chat's just been absolutely lit up. I kind of like seeing what people think about, what's coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like we could probably pepper in. We could kind of just go rapid fire through those articles, at least maybe the defensive one, because I know that'll spark a lot of comments, and I guarantee you that we can fill the next 20 minutes with just responses from the chat.
Definitely. All right, so here's the offensive side of the ball. Paul Bretl tweeted this out. Let me show you guys what the tweet looks like so you can go give it a – make sure you're following Paul Bretl.
Paul Bretl for sure.
For sure.
Give it a retweet, all that good stuff. Ahead of today's preseason opener, here are 7 players on offense for the Packers to keep your eyes on. Okay, so here we go. 7 Packers on offense. Sean Clifford, obviously being one. Sean Clifford, we'll chat about that real quick. We kind of talked about it. I think there's more pressure on Sean Clifford than there is Michael Pratt. Nobody's expecting Michael Pratt to just jump into that number 2 spot, but Sean Clifford's really got to prove that he can protect the football. Now, obviously in training camp, that's the time to take those shots, to take those chances. So I feel like that's why you've seen a high interception rate. I think someone said the other day, it was on Wildy and Tausch, it might have been Rob Domofsky that said this time, or all of camp last year, the Packers defense only had 6 or 7 interceptions. This year already, they've got 17.
Yeah.
That's absolute. Now, 13 of them probably came from Sean Clifford, so that's why I'm saying he's got to really protect the football today. Second on this list is Marshawn Lloyd. I'm really excited to see Marshawn Lloyd. How about you guys?
Yeesh.
I am as well.
A couple months ago, I said the guy's going to be a star. There's no timeline on that, but I've always felt that way. This guy's a star in the making. It's going to be fun to see his first snaps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I just want to make sure that he does his job, doesn't get too nervous or overexcited. And I want him to take care of the ball today, because I know that if he does any sort of fumbling, the Packer Twitter is going to go absolutely nuts, and they're going to be calling for him to get cut and all this stuff. And so I want him to just not let the game be too much for him. Maybe focusing on, I want to see how he does with pass protection and maybe like the screen game and just the little intricacies. And I also really want to see how him and AJ Dillon run together, or I guess just basically the same thing for AJ Dillon, to see if he's more twitchy, if he is faster, if he has more explosiveness, because that's what we were told.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next, Andre Dillard, Kadeem Telford, and Caleb Jones all grouped together. Andre Dillard just he's the man of the hour here. So
a trigger word here.
We kind of hit on that already, right? So those three competing for the right tackle, or the swing tackle spot, I should say. I would say you'll probably see a combination of those three on the field together, with some playing left tackle, obviously others playing right tackle from time to time. Of those three right there, you have to choose one to be your swing tackle. Jacob, who you taking, man?
Telford, Jones, Dillard, in that order.
In that order? Got it. What about you, Tim? Do you got a preference there?
I want to put my boy Caleb at the top of the list, but I can't.
I agree.
Justify doing that. So I would go with Jacob. I'd say Telford, Jones, then Dillard.
I actually may go Telford, Dillard, Jones. Don't kick me out of the chat.
What the hell's going
What
on?
the hell's going on?
This is my stream. Do not try to run me out of here, okay? No, I seriously, I feel like Dillard, having played so many snaps in the NFL, I feel a little more comfortable with him there as opposed to Caleb Jones. But I understand where people are coming from there too. You're never going to really know what you got in Caleb Jones unless you throw him out there. So you guys are probably right. I'm just saying I would lean towards Dillard over Caleb Jones just a touch. Those knees look weak, boys. It's a big old man. When I see him walk, I'm like, oh, please don't snap your leg. Like, he's such a massive human being. I don't know how his joints hold up, but not those joints, Jacob. Calm down, okay?
Easy.
So Grant Dubose is looking here on the list. Grant Dubose, another offensive player. Obviously, we've hit on him pretty handily. Here we go, Sean Ryan, another one, right? He's basically Sean Ryan. When Jordan Morgan's healthy, it appears that Sean Ryan is going to be your backup left guard, right guard, and backup center, is what I'm hearing.
Don't say that. every single errant snap that I saw at the camps that I was able to attend this year, it was Sean Ryan snapping the ball over the QB's head or directly on the ground. Yeah. And I don't think it's so much. I think that's the main thing that he's struggling with. I don't think he's having trouble with his get up and get off and block, but snapping the ball is pretty crucial to play center. So
we don't like that, Jan.
We don't like
that. All right, let's see what else we got here. That's all of the offensive players that Paul Bretl had mentioned. Let's jump over to the defensive side real quick. We can get this article pulled up. And again, make sure you go give Paul Bretl a retweet, a like, all that stuff. Let's light his social media up. All right, 5 Packers to watch on defense in preseason opener versus the Browns.
Here we go.
Number 1, TJ Slaton. Look, let's just give the measurables. 6'4", 330 pounds. So it's a big old man. Or as Coach Half once said, I believe he said something like
thick.
Exactly right. Let's see. Brenton Cox, second on the list, Jacob.
Just the tip, though.
No, Tim, damn it, Tim. I know it was Tim because I was talking and Jacob was looking at the TV. So, Jacob, Brenton Cox Jr., number 2 on Paul Brittle's list of defensive players to look for tonight, man. He is really kind of last camp, last year it was Carl Brooks. This year it kind of feels like Brenton Cox Jr. is the one that's flashing, right?
Yes, I agree. Dennis calling me out here. We
talked
Jacob,
about it. You started this conversation 2 years ago, and it has never ended.
You kidding me, man? It's never going away.
I know a human meat missile when I see one. All right.
Yes, you.
I got a good eye.
How bad it's good.
God almighty. All right. Eric Stokes next on the list. I agree with this. I want to see him running stride for stride with their number 1 tonight, whoever that number 1 may be. And I want to see him tracking the ball, Tim. We've talked about that ad nauseum with Eric Stokes. If he gets that part of his game improved, it's game on.
And I'm telling you, on the defensive side of the ball, I don't know if there's a player I'm rooting for harder right now than Eric Stokes Jr. to come out and have a hell of a season. He's due. We know what he's capable of doing. We've seen him a little bit at his best, but injuries robbed us of a lot of playing time from him. So that he knows this is a huge year for his career. And he's got something to prove, and he knows it. And it's nice to see him. I know we're early into camp here, getting into first preseason game, but you talk about a guy who's going to be absolutely jacked up to play football today. It's going to be Eric Stokes Jr. for sure.
Got emotional. If you guys would hit that like button for us, we got a bunch of people in here. Feel free to sub to the channel. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Listen, we're going to be going live immediately following the game too with a post-game show. We're going to do that for every game this year. Even when we're on the road, we're going to make that happen. Also, when this wraps up, we're going to plug a live stream that you guys can go and hang out and watch the game with. You can't see the game in that stream, but Ryan Schlipp and his son they're going to be watching the game. If you just want somewhere to go in and chat about the game, here's some fun banter. It's going to be a good place to hang out as well. Next on the list is Javon Bullard and Evan Williams. We talked about that. Right there he is.
Back Daddy's creeping in the chat.
That's what I'm talking about. It's pretty cool, man. We went live this morning. We talked about this earlier today. We went live for an hour this morning, grabbed a cup of coffee, woke up, talked Packers. We are doing a pregame show right now, obviously. Ryan's going to be doing a live stream on his channel during the game, and then immediately following the game, we're going back live with a postgame show. You're getting like 6, 7, 8 hours of Packers talk in a live format on YouTube. Pretty darn cool. Also on Rumble, also on X. We are. I don't know if Ryan's on Rumble yet, but yeah, you can find him at YouTube all the time there. So Javon Bullard and Evan Williams, man, this didn't even hit me until we started the show, and someone mentioned earlier, but like, Javon Bullard and Evan Williams potentially on the field at the same time is exciting. That's going to be really – to see how they play and they react without that veteran leadership of Xavier McKinney could be huge, man. That's tell you a lot about him.
There's a chance that we could see Oladapo, Williams, and Bullard at the same time because we could see them throw Bullard at slot and possibly Williams. That'd be freaking cool, man.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see Bullard in the slot for a few snaps tonight. Yeah.
Because think about it. We talked about how there's quite a few D-backs that aren't suiting up tonight and that maybe have some injuries. They're going to be playing those guys around just to see,
Yeah. If you get to the point where you have to take Kalen King and play him on the boundary because you're without Jair and you're without who was the other guy on the boundary that we said wasn't playing? I can't even remember.
Valentine.
Carrington Valentine. So those are two boundary corners that you're going to now not be playing. They're not suited up tonight. You'll probably have to get Kalen King bounce outside, even if he does play a little slot. So you may see some Bullard in the slot. That's exciting. You may see Evan Williams and Oladapo down there a touch too. Next on Paul Bretl's list is Greg Joseph and Anders Carlson. Everybody going to be keeping up with that kicking battle. I hope they rotate tonight. I think that would be awesome if they just rotate each kick and, do it in a manner where one guy isn't just getting a chip shot 20-yarder and the other guy's having to kick a 50-yarder. You know what I mean? Try to balance it out to where you get similar distance. But hopefully we don't see too many field goals tonight. But then again, that's kind of what we need, isn't it? Especially in Cleveland right there on the lake. You want that breeze blowing off and making it difficult.
Yeah. RE Iron Miner. Can't say that very fast. He's asking where to find Ryan during the game. You can find him at PackerNet Podcast or Pack Daddy on YouTube. Yep. So he should be streaming there.
And if you're on Twitter, Iron Miner, you can go to Pack_Daddy. If you go to that, then you'll be able to see his links and all that good stuff. But yeah, go to YouTube, just type in PackerNet, and it should pop up. There might be a couple channels. Just look for the one that's going live during the game. So with that being said, let me refresh one last time here with Tom Silverstein, see if we're missing anything. Nope, we're up to date. We're good there. Final thoughts, guys. We'll go ahead and knock this off here and get ready for the game.
How do you guys feel about the fact that we're going against Jameis Winston as their starting quarterback?
Hey, I think that's a prime situation for Javon Bullard and Evan Williams to get their first picks as NFL players.
That's right. I hope it goes exactly like it did the last time we faced Jameis Winston.
Oh, I hope we get to eat a dub. You know what I'm saying?
That's How
about these hands? The Vikings took the ball and went right down the field to Sam Darnold at their quarterback. They got it all the way down to inside the 5 and then just blew a 4th and 2. So they turned it over on downs. But Sam Darnold looked okay.
Did he?
Yeah,
Damn it. So the Vikings and the Bears in the NFC Championship this year.
that's right.
If you go to Twitter, that's what you're seeing right now.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
All right. That's it, guys. We're going to get out of here. Everybody enjoy the game. Make sure you go over to Packernet on YouTube, okay? Packernet. Search that. Might be a couple channels. Make sure you go to the one that's going to be live streaming during the game. It's going to be a fun little hangout. I'll be in there from time to time as well in the chat, just trying to stir up trouble like we always do. And then immediately following the game, we'll be back live here on this channel for the post-game show. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Tim, it's so good to have you back, big dog.
Man, it's great to be back talking ball, and it's here. Packers football is upon us. Can I do a quick shout-out real quick before we jump off?
Absolutely, yeah.
Shout out to Donovan Schilling here. Stoked for Packer football, obviously. It's got the kiddos all situated, ready to go. Donovan is actually a co-worker of my sister-in-law, lives down in Georgia.
Awesome.
So shout out to Donovan Schilling, supporter of PTA, posse member for a long time. So salute Mr. Schilling for sure.
Awesome. We got an awesome crew, man. Love this group. It's going to be a fun season. It gets kicked off tonight. Y'all enjoy the game. We will see you, like I said, immediately following the game. We'll go live. We'll try to get some press conference and all that stuff as well, and bring you guys the best content that we possibly can. All right. So let's just hope that the kickers stay somewhere above
65%.
65%. That's what we.
I like to see a 65-yarder. That would be nice.
That's what I'm talking
How about
Just here to tell you, Packers back.
about. You like that little combo?
Oh boy.
You heard it from a fan.
Appreciate y'all. Everybody have a wonderful game. If you are driving to and from a watering hole, please make sure you got a designated driver, all that good stuff. Be safe out there. I know if you're like me, you get a little excited when Packers football gets kicked off. I just about drowned in the pool earlier, having too many daddy soaps. So we'll see y'all for the post-game show. Jacob, one last look at your boy right there. I need your blood pressure down during the game. It's a preseason game, Jacob. Don't look like this guy watching the TV, okay?
We'll give it a whirl.
All right. We'll see y'all tonight.